If we go to our daily chart on Bitcoin, didn't do almost anything today, about as flat as can be. We know our support. We know our resistance. That's all that matters here.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. Gareth Soloway breaks down Bitcoin and crypto price predictions and key market analysis. Will Bitcoin crash? Let's watch him uncover the insights.
Oh, look at Amazon here, guys. Big drop on Amazon right now. Well, it's not that big yet, but down from a close around 239. It is coming in. Look at that fall. Let's take a look. I'm watching a key support here around 227. This is an upsloping trend line, more of a daily level. You can see it right down here as it's getting a little bit of a bounce. But initially, Amazon selling off on earnings. And again, I wouldn't for me, I'm not day trading at that level. Just to be clear, that's more of a daily level on the daily chart. You can see this line here. And look at this one, guys. This was a cool one here. In fact, if we go to the big board, I love showing you guys on the big board here. If we look at this, right, this trend line from this high right through here, here, and right to here, we were right up into it going in. And again, at least initially, almost tagging that lower end support level. But the point of these two lines, if we get above this one, let's say we reverse, which always, oftentimes happens is stocks initially sell and then they can reverse. If we get above here, we go up here. And that's your big resistance around 256, 257. If tomorrow we start breaking and then we confirm below this, guess what? You have a lot of room to the downside. Now, it wouldn't happen overnight. I mean, you're not going to 180 overnight on Amazon. But my point being is that this line right here, this is a big one. If it breaks, you do have potential downside with bounces along the way back to about $180. So pretty cool stuff there on the Amazon chart. And let me just go back to the chart. Oh, yeah, look, we just pierced the line. So it's going to be battling. This is going to be a battle right here for Amazon in terms of does it break down tomorrow, close below? Do we confirm, let's say, on Monday? Or can it get rescued and stay above, in which case price could do whatever here and float back up?
Today's crypto scene reveals fresh developments capturing investor attention. On-chain real-world assets, RWAs, have gained momentum while Bitcoin's price continues to tread water. These tokenized assets enable everyday investors to own fractions of tangible commodities like real estate or art, broadening blockchain's reach. Analysts predict total value locked for RWAs could reach $50 billion by 2025, reflecting growing institutional interest. Meanwhile, Florida Republican Senator Joe Gruters introduced a bill proposing to invest part of the state's funds in Bitcoin. Citing inflation concerns, Gruters argues that holding digital assets could safeguard the purchasing power of public finances. He pointed to firms like BlackRock and Fidelity adopting Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and highlighted the asset's rising acceptance worldwide. In another update, Hallie Welch, also known as Hawktua, resurfaced after a long silence following the dramatic rise and fall of the Hawk memecoin. During a conversation with podcaster FaZe Banks, Welch said she was assured the project would have a lasting impact and benefit her charity. She felt blindsided when the token's value collapsed, revealing that the developers still maintained control of most of the coin supply. She remains hopeful.
Dow is down 176 points, but the NASDAQ is eking out a nice gain ahead of Amazon earnings, up about 34 points on the day, and the S&P is also higher. Oil down 50 cents on the day. That continues to stay weak, trying to get down to that 70 even number, while gold is pulling back today. For the first day in about 5 or 6 days, we are seeing a little pullback there. Bitcoin is basically unchanged, just under 97,000 on the day. All right, let's take a look at today's intraday action. It was a dead day for the first probably 3/4 of the day. You can see the markets opened up right up here, and basically we traded sideways in a tight range on the S&P for, again, like I said, 3/4 of the day. Then you got a little bit of a spook here. There was some commentary that made people wonder about, was something going to go on here, tariffs, whatever it may be, and then we've just basically reversed that. Straight up we go, a squeeze into the end of the day as the markets are rallying higher. All right, so again, this is all, keep in mind, all a question mark, right? So we could be up significantly if Amazon earnings come out poor after hours, the tech sector would start to sell off. And then more importantly, that jobs report tomorrow is going to be the key driver into the weekend and potentially next week. Now let's talk about that. So ultimately, what are we looking for? We're looking for a jobs number. If you want the markets to go higher, if you want risk on, if you want Bitcoin to go up, you need a slightly weaker number tomorrow in the jobs report. Slightly weaker will bring yields down, which have broken down on the daily chart. We can look at that in a second. And ultimately, that would then be risk on. Cheaper money, more money flows into the market. If we get a stronger jobs number, then that would mean yields go up and markets would most likely go down. All right, let's continue on over here, folks, and take a look. In fact, let's go to that 10-year yield chart right now and see what we have. So if we look at the 10-year yield on the daily chart, it is flat on the day, which makes sense because we're waiting for the jobs data tomorrow. But we did break this key trend line, which does open the door for further downside in the yields with a downside target around 4.13%. Now, some bigger movers today. I wanted to show you this one. This is the NVIDIA chart. Now, if we go over here to the big board, let's take a look here, right? The big board is key to look at this wedge pattern, which broke down. But what are we doing here? Look at how price is starting to head back up. And what is it doing? It's retracing into the scene of the crime. If you're looking for resistance, your target price is about 135 to 136 on NVIDIA. That would be up into that level, and then you would expect the rejection of price. That would be a classic technical analysis setup on NVIDIA. So again, look for continued upside potentially. If it gets to about 135 to 136, that will be a major level that price will have to deal with and likely get rejected from. Couple other charts here to go over, and we'll take a look at Amazon in just a minute. Palantir is just a monster today. Taking a look at this, up 9.8% on the day after it had that big earnings move a couple days ago. It had one small pullback yesterday, and this day today has been monumental. This company is now valued at $250 billion, and I want to just show you some metrics on this. If we just go back to where this was trading in November 4th, the stock is now up 170%. If we go back to where this was August 5th, the low on the market, that last big pullback, let's do a quick test of that. We are now up on Palantir 413%. That is epic, folks. Absolutely monstrous. Now, again, the question is, can it maintain this level? We're going to find out, obviously, and see where things go. But again, for me, this is where I start to say it looks overdone. Now I have to find the technicals that align at a key price, and that'll be where it looks, or we look for that bigger pullback. All right. A chart that I talked about in the game plan today was Ralph Lauren. It was gapping higher on earnings. So many times I've seen this earnings season. Let's walk over to the big board and take a look here. All right, so if we look at this was a chart. We talked about it this morning. It was going to open above a parallel. Parallels have an uncanny way, and this has really been more evident in this earnings season, of how we see price open above these parallels at all-time highs, and then the parallel channel like pulls it back underneath, and look at what happened here. So we opened up here, right here, and it pulled price back underneath the parallel. Now listen, does this mean it kind of continues to come down? We don't really know, but what we do know is this parallel still will remain big resistance. So, in general, you would favor the downside here. Again, Ralph Lauren, amazing to see it at all-time highs. What this also tells us, folks, is that Ralph Lauren had earnings. They were great earnings, obviously. The stock's up today, even though it pulled back off of the highs. But what it tells us is that the high-end consumer, the consumer with lots of money, with investable income, with the markets near all-time high, they are still spending quite a bit. It's everyone else that's kind of in that middle income or lower income bracket that is struggling. But again, Ralph Lauren doing great because that high-end consumer continues to spend robustly. All right, let's look at some of these earnings here, guys, and see if there's anything out yet. Amazon.
Robert Kiyosaki, known widely for his personal finance classic, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has once again directed attention to Bitcoin. He recently responded to a frequent question from his followers on the X platform, explaining that he bought more Bitcoin and gold. Citing concerns about fiat currency, particularly the US dollar, Kiyosaki emphasized that these assets are safer havens than government-issued money. His focus remains on protecting wealth amid global economic uncertainty. Kiyosaki's stance is not shared by everyone. Some have suggested that Litecoin might be a valuable addition, since it is referred to as digital silver. Others have pointed out that Bitcoin is still denominated in US dollars, the very currency he criticizes. Kiyosaki remains undeterred, pointing to Bitcoin's continued acceptance as a store of value and highlighting his confidence in hard assets like silver and gold, both physical and digital. Despite a recent dip pushing Bitcoin below the $100,000 mark, Kiyosaki views downturns as opportunities. He often refers to market crashes as prime moments to acquire discounted assets. After a new drop took Bitcoin to around $96,145, he'd expressed eagerness to expand his holdings. Earlier, he had predicted a brutal correction, sweeping across stocks, bonds, real estate, precious metals, and Bitcoin. He believes these moments offer a unique chance to increase one's net worth. He continues to urge caution with fiat, insisting that gold and Bitcoin offer tangible financial security. Ethereum ETF overshadowed Bitcoin this week, raking in $420 million in inflows compared to BTC's $173 million. This shift caught the attention of analysts, who suggested large investors snapped up Ethereum after its deleveraging event earlier in the week. Another driving force behind this surge is the CME Ethereum basis trade, offering higher yields than Bitcoin. When institutional players buy spot Ethereum and short it on CME futures, they pocket the difference, creating an attractive opportunity. Data shows the yield for Ethereum soared as high as 16%, while BTC hovered around 10%. Open interest in Ethereum futures has also ballooned from 354,000 Ethereum to over 1.1 million Ethereum since November 2024, reflecting institutional appetite. Despite this enthusiasm, analysts caution that Ethereum's price might remain subdued in the near term due to negative funding rates and stiff competition from Solana. For now, the edge in yields has steered significant investor attention toward Ethereum. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.